Thank you for your purchase. I am your ArcCorp Media Individual Entertainer, or Amy for short. The Palmetto Pirate, originally written by Ralph Gould in 2808. Rights acquired by ArcCorp Media Company in 2952. Current sale price 7 credits.
Come, all you adventurers, as we tag along during the daring antics of our favorite suave rapscallion. Listen in as our ne'er-do-well baffles the local fuzz and pulls off dashing capers. Miscreant or scoundrel, no flatfoot can catch the genteel swashbuckler known as the Palmetto Pirate.
The console in front of the captain hummed with life. Deft fingers raced across the switches and buttons, initiating pre-flight sequences. The HUD beamed to life, and coordinates were set for Mining Station 045 on Walla. Engine checks, green. Hydraulic pressure check, green. Airflow, check. Life support systems, green. Navigation, set. Radios, checked and set. A low vibration trickled across the ship, like a small purr of a cat. The lights flickered as the ship's auxiliary power units started up and took over from the ground supply unit, green across the board. Wade plopped into the co-pilot seat, clicking the safety harness together over his body. The seat, much like the man now sitting in it, showed signs of extensive, hard use. Yellow cushioning could be seen in places where the fake leather cracked and eroded away. The faded safety harness had turned into a faded blue. Maybe it was once black. The harsh light from many a sun had taken its toll on the colour of the fabric, not to mention the various stains from meals sacrificed to some planet's turbulent atmosphere.
Ground checks are done. Everything's cleared off, Captain,
said Wade. D. Ritter nodded in acknowledgement. He reached overhead and flicked a switch. The cool air that was being pumped into the cabin stopped, and it seemed almost quiet. The same eerie calm quietness that comes before a storm. Next to the switch, the captain depressed an orange button, and after a couple of seconds, the bulb came to life. A growl off the left wing began to grow. From the growl to a large wind-up. Neither crew member looked up, eyes fixated on the gauges. Watching the oil and air pressures slowly crawl. Without notice, he threw a fuel lever up. It too illuminated with an orange glow. The growl intensified, and eventually turned into a loud whine as the engine spun up to a ground idle setting. Lights flickered again as the ship's power swapped over from the auxiliary power unit to engine power. The captain continued the same process to start the starboard side engine, while his first mates began the shutdown sequence for the auxiliary power unit, and started making radio calls to the air traffic controllers. The same sequence followed religiously, almost to the point that if both men were blind, they could still accomplish engine start. A beam of evening light filled the cockpit as the larger hangar doors creaked, moaned, and slowly opened. In the distance, somewhat blocked by the orbiting station, stood the sun of the Stanton system, bright but soft.
We're clear for takeoff, Captain,
Wade said as he ran his fingers across the gauges, double-checking each reading. D. Ritter reached down and hit the VTOL switch. A monitor to his side showed the digital view of the engine angle as they rotated 90 degrees down. After the move was completed, he gently moved the engine levers forward, increasing engine power and thrust. The ship rattled, strained, fighting against gravity and its own weight. But finally, the freelancer lurched off the ground, breaking free from mundane physics. Both men pushed forward on the yokes, and the ship moved to clear the open hangar doors. The captain flicked the switch, and the engines rotated back to their horizontal position. Wade pulled back on the yoke, sending the ship into a 70-degree upward angle, whilst the captain applied max thrust to clear local airspace as quickly as possible. D. Ritter continued to make inputs into the navigation system, while his first mate steered the ship.
Waypoint set. Spool the drive,
the captain said as he scrolled through various self-checkouts on an MFD. A soft vibration could be heard as the quantum drive slowly spooled up and finalized its trajectory to the nearby planet of Walla. The cyan-coloured HUD of the forward windshield beeped happily as the drive finished its internal checks.
I'm surprised at how much the station was willing to pay for this stuff. It's not normal. Makes the hair on my arms stand up. I don't trust those hangar boys either,
Wade said as he looked over at the captain. Captain D. Ritter didn't even acknowledge the statement. He just jammed the quantum button, sending the ship lurching forward into quantum space travel. Light began streaking like rain on a windshield. The increased force pushed the two men deeper into their worn sheet cushions, for a brief moment before the ship's internal dampeners could offset the speed change. After a quick scan of buttons and gauges, Wade hit the release on his harness.
Going to do cargo checks.
The first mate rose, sure-footed, from the cockpit and disappeared with a swoosh from a pressurized door. Captain D. Ritter went over his first mate's checks, verifying everything was indeed green. He then pulled out the ship's manifest and began going line by line, verifying quantities and locations in the hold. Their ship shuddered, then violently rocked as if it hit a brief pocket of turbulence. But this was open space. The ship shuddered again, like a cold shiver running down the back of a large beast. Instantly, the colour drained from the captain's face. The manifest, a foregone thought, as it slides to the floorboards. Every experienced pilot knew exactly what was about to happen. D. Ritter shot upright in his chair. The captain slammed his fist onto the intercom button and yelled,
"Brace! Incoming!"
The once calm voice now fracturing at the edges with anxiety and a flood of adrenaline. The once streaks of light rushed back, drying into their normal pin-drop shapes. The nose of the freelancer dipped at the sudden deceleration, as if the nose submerged itself in water. The captain slammed forward into his safety harness, and the straps dug into his shoulders. Those will be bruises later.
Will our friendly cargo-hauling companions turn their expected profit? Will it really be smooth sailing? Or will they fall prey to the nefarious rogues known to roam the Stanton voids? Join us next time for the thrilling conclusion as Captain D. Ritter and his first mate Wade Mathis navigate their way to the intended destination.